Hi, welcome back to Good Morning KU. I'm Al Moore.
And I'm Courtney Johnson.
So this is our first show back of the semester, which that's pretty exciting. It's good to be back and get into the routine of things.
It's Monday.
Yeah, and it's a great Monday.
It
indeed.
Is. One of the best.
I heard that you had a really exciting weekend, though. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I went to Lincoln, Nebraska for the men's basketball game, the college basketball game, where Nebraska played Purdue, and the game was really close. It was very exciting. Nebraska wasn't doing very well this season, but
it was not as exciting as a KU
it
game.
It will never be exciting as KU versus Kentucky, ever. And that rivalry is crazy. So the game was really exciting. And Frank Mason did a good job. Josh Jackson also did a good job. They both had good games.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to watch the game online or anything?
I did. I watched the game at one of our friends' houses, and it was very exciting. I mean, I think they were pretty jealous because they're basketball players, but I mean, we had to watch KU. It was only acceptable.
Even if you're in Nebraska. You guys should have went to Kentucky this weekend.
Yeah.
You know,
that's what we should have been.
Wrong state to go
Rock,
to.
Chalk, Jayhawk.
Yes, but that is pretty awesome that, you know, we won against Kentucky again. And Josh Jackson, I watched some highlights. I didn't necessarily watch the whole game, but he had these like amazing dunks and assists just left and right. And even though it was like a close game, it was a really good game to watch.
A lot of threes. Frank did an amazing job too. It was just an amazing game.
Yeah, if you're not, you know, you're not a true KU fan if you don't like watch basketball here, I have to say, you know. So along with that, an exciting weekend for KU. It's been a pretty exciting few weeks and weekends with just everything going on in the world.
A lot has been going on, a lot of marches. Since we've had our last episode at Good Morning KU, a lot of marches have been going on. The Women's March have been going on.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of people's New Year's resolutions are protests and marches. And, you know, I didn't, like, put that down for my New Year's resolutions, which maybe I should have and joined the club. But
we marching to the fridge?
That's the only march I do here in Lawrence, into the grocery store.
Yeah.
So those are pretty awesome marches. But the one on Washington, that was the Women's March. I think we have some pictures of that. But how many people were involved in that?
About 500,000. People were involved with that march, and it was insane.
That just sounds a little crowded for my, taking.
Yeah.
I mean, I am from Minnesota, and we go to the Minnesota State Fair, and that's just like a whole bunch of people, and we're all like walking and eating food, like fried things on a stick. So I like couldn't imagine, in the cold, just walking with everyone for like miles. Well, it was just about like 2 miles, but still, I feel
it's
like
crazy.
That's, wilder than Disney World lines. That's just, whoa.
It's wilder than Lollapalooza in Chicago.
Yeah.
And that's a music fest, and it's so hot in the summer, you just can't breathe. You're going to pass out some way, somehow.
And along with the Women's March in Washington, there is one for like Pro for Life in Topeka and the other major cities. There's just been a bunch of marches.
One in Washington, D.C. on Friday and one in Topeka on Monday. And it was all about like abortion. So everyone was basically protesting against abortion and having pro-life. So
pro babies or not, everyone was just marching this weekend, I have to say. And also, with the other protests going on, my aunt actually came back from Ireland this weekend, and she pulled into KCI, and it was just literally nuts with all these protests. I remember my uncle like posting something on Facebook. You know how like older people are on Facebook, gotta share everything. And there was just so many lines, and he like couldn't even find her and was waiting in the car. So I felt really bad for that. But people are, standing up and, making a voice, whether you're at the airport or literally just walking on the street in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
So it's just crazy. But I mean, how do you feel about the marches? Like, would you ever like go out and march about?
I personally have never, I've never done a march, so I feel like maybe I could have done the Women's March if I would have done anything. So, what about you? Would you do a march?
I'm more of the person that likes to, be maybe in a house or an apartment looking down at all the people, because I just feel like once again crowded and like, what if I got to go to the bathroom, or just like many things could come up that, I just would get scared over. So maybe marches aren't for me, but, if you need a march about a topic, just go out and do it, I think. So we'll be back, though, with an interview with TJ and a guest from the Dole Institute, so stay tuned.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
And welcome back. I'm TJ Blake, and I'm here with a special guest today. We have CJ Jackson, who for this last year covered the election, has worked with Politico in the past, has worked with AP. He's actually also a graduate of the University of Kansas, right?
Yeah, 2004, Rock Chalk Jayhawk.
Well, we're glad to have you back here. We're actually having you back on campus almost this whole semester, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm coming back. My wife, Johanna Maska, who's also a KU grad, we are going to be serving as Dole Fellows this spring. So we'll be leading discussion groups starting March 1st through the end of May, or through the beginning of May, and we're going to have some really cool guests.
Okay, so tell me a little bit more about the discussion groups. They're taking place at the Dole Institute, but what is a discussion group?
Well, the way we're designing them is we're going to have one of our colleagues or friends who share sort of our experience in politics. My wife served as the director of press advance for President Obama for 7 years. So our idea is to our discussion group is called Donald Trump's First 100 Days, and what we're trying to do is kind of decode what's going on, what's new about this administration in terms of their approach, and what's completely normal, and kind of explain the transition of power and what administrations prioritize in their first 100 days. And so the discussion group is basically we're going to be able to fly in some of our most astute colleagues or friends who have worked in government or on campaigns and can share their knowledge with KU students, and we're going to frame it. It's going to be very light. We're going to have discussions and like hopefully lots and lots of student involvement, and have tell great stories and have all of the awesome questions that they're burning up with answered.
That's awesome. It's kind of like a laid-back opportunity to have conversations with really cool people.
Yeah, I mean, when I was at KU, the main thing that I always wanted was to hear stories about people who were here and then went on to do things in the world. Yeah. And so because it gives you a sense of where you can go. Not that my goal is to make it clear that we're not sort of remarkable in that sense, that you can go and do some pretty amazing things from Lawrence, and to give, frankly, to give students a network or, some people who they can connect with who can help them get on their way if that's what they're interested in. And so we're going to have some people from media, some people who have worked in the Bush administration, the Obama administration,
even some KU grads too, right?
Absolutely, some KU grads, yes. Aside from Johanna and I, we have a good friend of ours, Marlon Marshall, who was Hillary Clinton's deputy campaign manager, will be coming in May, and he'll be, he's as enthusiastic a Jayhawk as it gets. So we're really excited to have him, and he's going to tell some really awesome stories because he always does. So. Yeah,
that'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, so another thing I'm kind of curious about is, so you have a lot of different topics that you're going to be engaging with while you're here. What are some of the topics that you will be discussing each week?
Well, so as a reporter and an editor, I'm particularly interested in how any administration forms its relationship with the media, but particularly, given the early days of President Trump's, administration, his interactions with the media. And this is kind of a relationship that sort of stretches across the 2012, the 2016 campaign. He's had a contentious relationship with the press. And so how that relationship forms, what changes or what doesn't, and frankly, what's unique or not unique about that is something that I'm really interested in looking at. I know also we just want to give students a sense of what it's like to work in the White House. And so one of our guests who's coming, Rohan Patel, was worked at a bunch of different levels in the Obama administration, but he has this really unique perspective because he was kind of a day one aide in the administration. And he can talk about the level of intensity and kind of, what it's like to be in the room when an administration is kind of at its most effective, but also its most fevered and kind of craziest state because you're still putting the government together.
Yeah, he will be coming to the Dole Institute on Wednesdays at 4 o'clock for his discussion group to discuss President Trump's first 100 days. So hopefully we'll see you back on campus here this next semester, starting on March 1st. But for today, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hey, you. Welcome back. Here are today's headlines. President Donald Trump issued an executive order that bans citizens from 7 predominantly Muslim nations from entering the United States. The measure sparked protests from religious and political groups across the country. The White House says the ban is important to preserving national security. Universal Studios' A Dog's Purpose earned $18.4 million and took the second at the box office this weekend. The success came despite calls to boycott the film due to poor treatments of animals on set. Hamilton is coming to Kansas City. The show will arrive at Kansas City Music Hall for the 2018 and 2019 season. Season ticket holders will have the first opportunity to purchase tickets for the critically acclaimed musical. The Kansas City Royals agreed to a $12 million contract with former St. Louis Cardinals outfielder and first baseman Brandon Moss. The deal will be official after Moss completes a physical. The KU Sexual Assault Prevention and Education Center is celebrating its 1-year anniversary. In its first year, the center has trained 15,000 people and provided over 70 awareness events for the prevention of sexual assault. And after a rocky week for the KU men's basketball team, the Jayhawks gained redemption against Kentucky. After trailing for much of the first half, KU rallied to beat Kentucky 79-73. The Jayhawks will host Baylor on Wednesday night. The Bears are currently tied with KU atop the Big 12 standings. Stay with us, and Brittany will be back with the weather.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brittany Foster, and I'm here to give you all your Monday morning weather update. Currently, we are sitting at a temperature of 34 degrees with a slight wind out of the west around 5 miles per hour. Make sure if you are heading out the door this morning, you have a heavy coat on because those ones will make it feel a bit colder than the actual temperature. Although, as we head throughout the rest of the day, we eventually will reach a high of 60 degrees. That is nearly spring weather. The slight wind out of the west will remain throughout the day, but we will have clear skies all day to help warm us up. Overall, we will have a lovely Monday weather-wise. Concerning the rest of the week, temperatures will slowly drop as the week progresses, but nice weather will persist with clear skies all week. Just a heads up though, this weekend on Saturday there's a 40% chance of freezing rain and or just rain. We will keep you updated on that as the situation nears. Thanks for tuning in, and everyone have a great day.